When you're dealing with the loss of your loved one, there is the loss of the friendship, the loss of the relationship, and you miss them extremely. And one of the things that you are hungry for is connection, because death reminds us how important people are to us. They remind us that what life boils down to is the quality of our relationships that allow us to make memories, feel connected, learn about ourselves, learn about other people. In our relationships, we experience joy and laughter. We experience love and compassion. We understand what kindness looks like, what connectedness looks like. We get to understand what it feels like to be remembered, to share something with someone else that no one else knows, to be part of a small group, to be part of a large group, to be part of a culture, a community. We understand so much about ourselves and about life and about what makes life beautiful and sweet and fun and funny and great. And so as we lose our loved ones, part of the loss is the role that they played in being in relationship with us, in making us feel connected. So that void of them not being there leaves us hungry for deep emotional connection. But the key here is, as you're trying to figure out who can you trust, who can you build these deep emotional connections with in a season where you're vulnerable, because of the need, because of the loss, because you know what it means to have loved and to have lost someone so special to you. And so now relationships are not just superficial. You look now for relationships to really have that deeper meaning, that deeper sense of purpose, to really be about connecting on a deeper level with other people, to be able to be authentically who you are, to enjoy the time with people, and to feel like you don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to be someone that you're not. You don't have to come out of character just to be able to be with that person. One of the most beautiful things about grief is that it burns away anything that is not real, that is not substantial, that is not true. When you have lost at such a deep level, you only want the things that are true, that are real, that are valuable to come into your life. You no longer have patience for the superficial, because death is so heavy, because you know that once you have this opportunity with somebody, you'll never get that opportunity again when they're gone. And so now everything becomes more meaningful, more valuable, because it's when loss happens, we understand the true value of a relationship, the true value of someone in our life, because we no longer are able to just run to them, talk with them, spend time with them. And now we know what we really had in our life. And that's also what brings up feelings of regret, because maybe we didn't value that relationship as much as we should have when we had them. But now this desire for new relationships or current relationships to take on a different role, to take on a different meaning, and to be engaged in differently. The desire now becomes, how do I have real, meaningful, lasting relationships? How do I strengthen the relationships that I have? And how do I let go of the ones that now, in the light of eternity, in the light of life and death, of loss and now meaning, I want to make sure to have the right people in my life. I want to make sure to have people who are people I want to be there the long term, who I really want to spend and invest my time with. So that becomes one of the questions that's born out of grief. And one of the desires born out of grief is a desire for greater connection, for long-lasting, meaningful relationships. And so if you're wondering, well, how do I begin to discern that, to look at my relationships and evaluate which ones are still healthy and which ones do I want to invest in and which ones are superficial or I need to let go of, so that my time that's valuable, that's precious, the energy that I have now, it might be limited because I'm still dealing with grief. I want to invest that limited energy into the right people and not expend it on the wrong people and now be in regret that I didn't expend that energy on the people that I really care about, the relationships I really want to build. And one of the first things that you want to do is look at your relationships and evaluate whether they're current or they're new relationships coming into your life. Is this person of a steady character? Is this person faithful? Does this person say and do what they promised to do? Have they kept their word? Are they people of integrity? Are they solid? Are they someone that I don't have to worry about if they're going to be up one day, down the next day, if they're going to be here or one day and then making excuses for the next 15 days, right? Has this person proven to be a person of character? Because you're dealing with grief and the energy is limited, the time is valuable, and the relationships are going to be at a low amount because you want to invest time in them. You don't want to invest time in someone who's showing you that they're not faithful, they're not trustworthy, and that maybe they can't handle the state that you're in. Maybe they're immature emotionally, or maybe emotionally this is not something that they're equipped for, and so being with them is taking more energy or causing you more pain. You want to examine your relationships and you want to look for character. All those attributes that make up character that tell you that this person is emotionally safe, is emotionally sound, and it's someone that you want to invest your precious energy and time and commitment to. And when we talk about character, there are certain things that we're looking for. We're looking for that the person's behavior is consistent. Are they kind to you and kind to others? Are they the kind of person that when they say they're going to do something, they show up and they do it? Do they follow through? Do they communicate? Those things are important if you're going to invest time in that relationship. You also want to know with that person, if you're investing time in that relationship, do they come to your defense? Do they speak well of you? Do they speak well of other people that they're in relationships with? Because if they're not speaking well of other people they're in relationship with, and they're showing that person that they're friendly one minute, but when they're with you, they're talking badly about them or they're criticizing them, then they're telling you that they're willing to show themselves one way, but really feel another. And if they can do that about somebody else in your life, they can do that when it relates to you. So you want to make sure that if this person is truly worthy of being a friend, of investing time and energy into, that they're going to rise up to defend you when someone talks about you or when someone has misconstrued something about you, that they're not going to fall in line and talk against you, but that they're really going to be supportive. You want to make sure that this person also meets you where you're at, that if you're generous to them, they're generous to you, that the relationship is equal, that you don't feel like you're working for their time, for their affection, for their love, that they're giving you the same thing that you're giving them. And maybe even in times of grief and loss, when you're unable to do what you've always done, or when things are difficult because emotionally you're dealing with so much, that they're patient with you, that they're understanding, and that they're still steady in how they relate to you, and that they're willing to show that compassion and that kindness that you need in this season of your life. This is someone that if you choose to invest in, you know that they would invest right back in you what you're investing in them. And so you want to be confident of the people that you choose to allow in your life. You want to be confident of the people that you choose to invest your energy, which is precious, and your time, which is immeasurable too. This person should be someone who can sit with you. We can't emphasize enough the importance of someone who can just spend time with you when you're dealing with grief and loss and not have any expectations. Any expectations that you're going to entertain them, any expectations that you're going to necessarily have the right words to say, any expectations other than to just be your friend, to just be available and to sit with you, whether today's a good day or today's a tough day, but that they can be mature enough to be consistent and to be available, knowing that things are not always going to be like this for you. There's going to come a time where your energy will grow, where strength will come back to you, where you'll start feeling better and you'll start feeling more engaged. And that time, you're going to see that you can invest back into that relationship in a greater portion. But know that faithful friends, consistent friends, friends of character, friends who are rock solid, take time. Take time to cultivate, to grow, to connect with. So be patient with yourself and protect those areas where you're vulnerable because of loss and a greater desire for connection. You want to make the right connections. You want to invest what is precious, and that is time, love, memories, kindness. You want to invest that in someone who equally wants to invest that back in you. I just want to remind you to stay encouraged. I want to remind you that the work that we have to do in grief is to remember our loved ones, to recover from the loss, and to recreate a life that is meaningful, that remembers our loved one, incorporates what we've learned from them, and that we can find joy, and we can find peace, and we can find connectedness once again. Thank you for joining me. My name is Gessy Martinez, helping you to remember, recover, and recreate your life. Until next time.